Good morning, and welcome to Tea Time. We got another day. Happy Sabbath. I hope you're feeling great, feeling loved, feeling appreciated, and I hope you're able to let someone else know that they're loved and let them feel appreciated as well. So, next to me, you see we have Mr. William Clay. We're continuing uh, providing some information where we left off from last Saturday. And so it's a great feel to be with him again because he's very knowledgeable on a number of things. But today we're talking again about the Constitution. And there's a delay right here, so I'll be right back. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Clay. And I'm going to let you take off and make your introduction, and I will be right back, okay?
Okay.
You
Good
doing
morning.
okay?
My name is William Clay. And today, what I'll be speaking with you about is an expression or uh, when it comes down to equal opportunity, similar situated circumstances. First of all, let me share with you what I don't do. And what I don't do is when it comes down to equal opportunity is talk about organization best business practices, especially those organizations that are in any way public funding, whether it's tax exempt, whether it's grants rewarded, funding, federally assisted programs, anything that deal with public funding. That is what I focus on. For a reason, if you get caught up with any organization best business practices, what's going to happen? You're going to have a hard time. There will be an extended time you going back and forth with that organization and their best business practices, where you're not really addressing any federal laws, constitutional laws, state laws, or any EEOC legislation. So that's why I try and stick with federal law legislation as well as the 14th Amendment and Article 1 of the Constitution. Those areas there will supply you with what you need to address any issues with any organization best business practices. For an example, if there's an organization, whether it's a college or whether it's a junior college, 4 year, graduate, postgraduate, and they're receiving public funding in the areas of loans or any type of funding when it comes down to anything, medical research, public policy research, legislative research, anything that deals with public, then they are required by law to be in compliance. And compliance will vary, even though they're under the same piece of legislation, based on the agency that you are referring to. For an example, say if you are working for DOT versus Department of Agriculture, those two agencies, they are different. They have different activities. So you won't apply the same activity, but you apply the same legislative compliance, where They may be short on black females. They may be short on black males.
Mm-hmm.
The hiring process, all of these different activities within an organization that they are required to be in compliance with. In a lot of instances, they're not. So if anyone just go there and say, well, you're discriminating against me, then you will have to prove yourself through by the similar situated circumstances, meaning that how did I discriminate against you? And whatever you do or whatever you say, you have to establish a prima facie case. And a prima facie case is that you have the data and everything to prove that he or she or the organization treated you differently from the next person when you were just as qualified or better qualified than the person that they promoted or the person that they gave an opportunity to. So those things we have to be aware of.
Yes.
And the last couple of decades, we have fallen away from that. And
Yes.
we have to get back within those concepts,
Mm-hmm.
especially from the legislative perspective. Well, first of all, I don't want to get too far gone before I ask, are there any questions to this point?
No, sir. No questions other than the one that I may have. You mentioned.
Okay, go right ahead on.
Okay. You mentioned about the discrimination part and how you have
Yes.
to prove from past experience in a department or an office or whatever the case may be that you are being discriminated against. Well, we have I've heard about a person who for years have been doing the same thing in this department. He complained and said that he was being discriminated against. You know, he felt he was unfairly was being treated unfairly.
Hmm.
And they said, and he went through the protocol to the appropriate person to let them know, you know, well, I'm being discriminated against. I've always done this and I've always had great reviews and no one's complained about my work, you know, the same things. You know, he was okay doing his work for years. All of a
Hmm.
sudden, new boss, and the new boss changes the programming and excludes him from doing what he loves to do in the company. How do you address that with proof? When he went through protocol, and protocol was to go to the right source, and he did that. That source said, well, the departments are allowed to change and do what they want to do. So, how do you handle something like that? Is it possible for this person to go forward? And he, you know, for years, I'm going to say maybe 12, 13 years, been doing the same thing, and all of a sudden, new boss changes things around and excludes him from doing what he loves to do.
Okay, when you say excludes him what he loved to do, and you're saying that uh, his workload was changed, what percentage of his workload was changed?
Normally, he's able to do workshops and seminars, and so he's, like I said, been doing it 13 years or more, and all of a sudden, he's down to just one workshop. And understand that he's been doing this many workshops and seminars for years, and the new boss changed it because she could when he went through protocol to say, hey, I'm only getting work for one workshop, and I normally do many workshops, and I've not had any bad reviews. Everybody love what I do. I get great reviews, and they told him that the departments are allowed to change their programming, and so he's
Well,
in that.
when when the program was changed, do you know how many? Say if he was uh, given at least 20 workshops per year, and compare and contrast to that of other people's at the time when he was presenting 20. What was the other individuals, other employees presenting at the time?
He was
Do you
actually
know
number
that?
he was actually number one.
He was actually number one.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
When they reduced him,
Mm-hmm.
comparing and contrasting to Did anyone else get a reduction in presentations?
No, they actually took his place.
Okay, did they explain to him why?
Said wanted to give other people an opportunity to do this.
In the process, did they make his job any better?
No, they actually hurt his feelings. I mean, that don't count, but they actually hurt his feelings, and so it's less money for him at this point since they've
Oh,
done.
less money?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now then, did they increase the other individuals when when they took the presentation from him and gave it to them?
I can't say about that, but I don't know. His main thought about this is that he's been doing it so long, so well. Why would the new department head think that it needed to be changed? So he's thinking in his mind, based on his department, that he's being discriminated against because he's been doing it correctly. He's been doing his assignments correctly for the department, great reviews, loving what he's doing, and there was no reason to make a change to eliminate him from doing what he's always done, to give it to
Let,
someone else, new employees.
let me ask you this. He, he's senior?
Yes.
Okay, so, and that now, in that way, there's a possibility, and the probabilities are very high
Mm-hmm.
if he's senior
Mm-hmm.
and they took work away from him
Yes.
and reduce his salary,
Yes.
then I I think there's something there to be looked at because
Okay.
you can take things away, but when you have an adverse impact on
Mm-hmm.
salaries
Mm-hmm.
and living condition,
Yes.
then it's something there to be looked at.
Right.
And not
Yes.
only that, and you're talking about a public entity that
Yes. Federal
receives public
dollars.
funding.
You got it right.
See, you can't have authoritative leadership when it comes down to public funds.
I
See, because
see.
no one out there, whatever college or university, they're not a private owner.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a sole proprietor, and no unit within that organization should carry on like it's a sole proprietor because a director come in that he or she just can do whatever he or she wants to do. Nope, that's not the way it works. They
Eh,
receive state dollars,
yes.
federal dollars, all types of uh, public funding. So I hear and see some issues there.
Okay, and so I was going back to review the statement that was sent to me, and his salary. Normally, he gets paid for doing these things, and he's been reduced to 3 weeks of doing these workshops. So that changes his income tremendously, because normally he does 9 weeks of this thing, and his classes all fill up. Uh, so. And I'm just jamming through, but yes, he feels that he is the last African American in the department. The others have already left because of what he's dealing with, and he's trying to hang on. So
Okay.
he did contact someone that's higher, and the response was the departments can do their own thing, basically.
That's not, they can do their own thing as long as they're in compliance.
Yes.
They have to be in compliance with the state
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be in compliance with the
Mm-hmm.
federal government.
Okay.
They have to,
So.
both the EEOC
Mm-hmm.
as well
Mm-hmm.
as the Title 6
Title
of the
Six.
1964 Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
So there is not only that, but the 14th Amendment, equal
Mm-hmm.
access under the law. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many avenues that
Mm-hmm.
you can use to approach this issue here.
Mm-hmm. I
So
have one last question about that, and we're going to move on so you can tell us some more good things that we need to know. So now it's time for what's his next step?
Okay, he's gone up through the ranks. Has he spoke with the university leader, the chancellor, whatever position?
He has not. Second
O-
in command is what who he spoke to.
Okay, and that's fine, but the second in command will not uh, reap the repercussion that that will come. So if he can make an appointment to speak the with the chancellor and me, I would say, okay, this guy cannot help me. That's what I say when I know that only the one in charge will be able to change this particular practice. What
Okay.
I heard you say earlier that all of the African American in this particular unit, they're no longer there.
That is correct. He's the last
O-
one.
Okay, now my question is that when they was hiring to replace these people, they didn't look at their compliance program
I guess not.
to see that okay, we don't have any African Americans, so and we only one here, and we have 15 or 20 people of other color. Let's see if we can find someone through the hiring process. And there's nothing wrong with being in compliance
Right. Okay.
and
Well,
making a good faith effort.
yes, good faith effort. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, I'm sure this information will help him, but not only him, everyone else who might be experiencing discrimination on their job. I don't know why we have to continually call them out because we have to have a roof over our head. We have to eat. We have to, we want to have fun. We want to go out to dinner occasionally. So everyone loves money. So I don't know why it's so difficult for them to let bygones be bygones. But anyway, we're still fighting. And not just for, this is not just a conversation for black people. This is a conversation for all people.
Let
All people
let
are
me
able to
add to
take
what you're
advantage of this.
saying, and the biggest gap is this. You have a culture of people in business, whether it's public or private. They refuse or they don't care to acknowledge equal opportunity, equal access under the law,
Right.
or any other type of legislative compliance. They refuse to look at it. They won't even listen to it. I've seen it. I've spoke with individuals, and this is what they told me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about that.
Oh my.
And I said, well, okay, eventually you will hear about it, whether it's now or whether it's in the future, but
Right.
it's something that you must learn. You have to learn because
Right.
eventually, uh, when it comes down to public funding, you have individuals that wants to run it like it is a private industry, and before long, you have all types of compliance issues going on. When you walk into a public organization, large public organization, and you don't see any people of color, what does that tell you? There isn't any compliance.
Right.
And if you're not in compliance in one area, 9 times out of 10, you won't be in compliance in other areas.
That's right.
And we have to understand in every instance what particular agencies, like I introduced at the beginning, what agency is providing the funding. If kids are getting, all of the academic scholarship, uh, grants, loans, anything, that's going to be under the Department of Education.
Right.
That's just the agencies that's funding the money or the fund. But if you look at the how they are using their public uh, practice or their private practice, with these public dollars, then you're going to see that you have two things going wrong. One is that their practice is having an adverse impact on a protected class of people, but they're using public dollars to do it. Two different situations.
Yes.
Two different situations. Because
Yes.
as an employer, then that's Title VII. But as public funding, that's Title VI.
Got it.
So we're talking about two different complaints. At any given time, you
Yes.
have an organization that's receiving public funding that at Title VII and Title VI. And not only that, whatever the U.S. Department of Education is talking about.
Right. Right.
So that's where we are when it comes down to public funding and similar situated circumstances.
Okay. Can you explain your company, MEACC LLC? Can you tell us what you do?
Yes, yes. I created that because of public policies, legislative laws, the U.S. Constitution, the 14th Amendment, Article 1, Interstate Commerce Clause, all of those particular items there that I mentioned, because public funding is very, very important to us as African American. When you think about the trillions of dollars that goes out every year and public contracting for private contractors,
Yes.
private businesses, African American is, I would say, less than one half of 1% when these contracts are awarded. So I created the business for one, I've been a mediator since 1998, and I've been in the mediation process since 1987. So mediation is very important, and not only that, for all the believers out there, the scripture tell us that Christ is the only mediator between man and God.
Yes.
So I think that mediation is a tool that could be worthy used, because when we go in with mediation, like is always you mediate uh, with a win-win mentality.
Yes.
Both parties come out and they feel as though the mediation was uh, uh, was a good process, and they will do it again.
Absolutely.
And next, the E, that's the M, the E is evaluation.
Okay.
Uh, Decades ago, the government paid different institutions. The University of Western Michigan is the main university for evaluation. All of the historical mediators, not mediators, but evaluators in time past, Daniel Stufflebean, Michael Scriven, Jody Fitzpatrick, these individuals came and they created the evaluation tools that you can go in and evaluate any area of public or private activities. And it's, right now, there isn't any evaluate, very little, if any, evaluation that's going on in any organization where people are being held accountable.
Yes.
If you look at all of our public agencies, whether it's federal, state, you have all dictators, for the most part, using public dollars.
I
And
see.
see, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
I see.
So every activity should be evaluated.
Yes.
And after it's being evaluated, we can assess, we can make an assessment on the uh, mediation tools,
Yes.
that's in place. For an example, there are of five categories of evaluation. For an example, we have utilities, feasibilities, proprietary, accuracy, and accountability. And if either one of those categories are left out, then we have gaps.
Mm.
We have something that's not being completed. For an example, utilities. Do people or employees have all the utilities in place to effectually do what they're supposed to do.
I see. Oh,
And proprietary, as an example, are they doing it in good faith, a good faith effort, feasibility, the product, or say, for an example, the monetary funding that's given to the program or policies, is it feasible?
I
For
see.
an example, if you need $50 million for this particular program or policy, and they're only giving you $25 million, is it possible? Is it possible that this particular activity or program can be executed in a good faith effort with $25 million instead of $50 million?
You're really teaching us, but we only have 4 minutes left. Tell me
Okay.
about tell me about the A and the C.
Okay. Assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Assessment,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we go in and we assess everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We assess the utilities and the categories.
Mm-hmm.
And the C is conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Can we apply, or will we apply,
Mm-hmm.
or individuals are willing to accept conflict resolution as to resolve? And the other underscore C is just consulting.
Okay. So you have an office and people, your phone number is on the screen now, your email address is this
Mhm.
is how they get in touch with you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what we need to take advantage of. We need to take a picture of this screen, or you need to write it down and you need to make use of Mr. William Clay as he has the information that we all should know, but we don't. But he has a greater understanding, so he's available. So please, this will be posted on YouTube for you to review over and over again. And if you fall into any of the categories, all you need to do is just follow Dr. T. Still on YouTube or any of the other social media platforms. Now, Mr. Clay was here last Saturday, and he talked in detail about titles 6 and 7. So you can go back and review. You can. This is your day to be empowered with knowledge. And this is knowledge that you can review over and over and over again because it's posted on all of the social media platforms. And Mr. Clay, you're a very wise and informed man about things that we should already have some knowledge of, but we've just dropped it all by the wayside and just kind of given up, per se. But in any case, I'm glad you exist and I'm glad you're available for whoever needs you. And so, I hope that some calls come forth so you can make a change. So we have a few commercials. One is a corporate prayer. Every Saturday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. All you need to do is, you don't have to say anything, just dial in 605-313-5883. The platform will open up at 10 minutes to 7, and all you need to do is be ready at 7 a.m. Central Time to get some prayer in. 605-313-5883, and you do not have to say anything. Prayer is good. It does change things if you're a believer, if you have faith, and we need to have faith there. Also, this show is ran again tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on www.gmap1.com. And that's, if you want to watch it, all you need to do is go to, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time this evening, go to www.gmap1.com and you can view the show again. So we want to thank you, Mr. Clay, again. You are so
You're welcome.
such an interesting man about these titles, and I actually went and started reading the Constitution, so I've been empowered to get more knowledge, so I guess y'all can do the same thing. So I want y'all to continue to have a great, happy Sabbath day. If you need to kiss and hug someone and ask for forgiveness, do that. If you can't, text it. If you can't do that, email it. If you can't do that, use snail mail and send it and ask for forgiveness so you don't have to hold on to that all the rest of your life. You don't need to. So thank you for joining Dr. T Time, and we'll see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great day and keep Sabbath holy as best as you possibly can. Just remember that what this day was created for. Goodbye. See you next time. Bye.